You're listening to The Fully Booked Therapist with Heather Hommel. This is the business coaching show for hands-on therapists who are done under-earning and ready to build a practice that pays them more than enough. Real conversations, real results, your real life. Let's get into it. Hey, everybody, and welcome back to the Fully Booked Therapist podcast. I'm your host, Heather Hommel, and I want to welcome a very special guest, Lauren Moyer. Lauren, why don't you introduce yourself to the audience so that everybody can remember who you are?
Yes. Hello, everyone. I am a myofascial release therapist, and I am the owner of Vibrant Life Myofascial Release, which is just outside of Philadelphia in Wyncote, Pennsylvania.
Awesome. How long have you been a bodywork therapist? Like, how long have you been licensed to touch?
Since April 1st of 2022. Yeah,
Okay.
I took my MBLEX on April Fool's Day, and I was like, either this will be great or I'll just be crying and it won't be a funny day for me.
That's awesome. What did you do in your life before you were a massage therapist?
So my undergrad was in American Sign Language interpreting.
Oh,
And so also working with my hands.
yeah.
But I had kids like right away after college, just about, and I couldn't figure out how to do that while being like the last minute contacted person for
Okay.
interpreting. And so I let that go. And then I did fundraising for a period of time for a nonprofit that was connected to the church I was attending, and did anti-racism organizing with an immigrant advocacy organization in Philly. And then I decided I was going to go back to school for massage therapy. And right after that, I went to my first John Barnes course because I was supposed to learn something about it and we didn't. And so let me find out what this is. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, this is the thing. This is the thing I want to do.
That's awesome. So after you got licensed and after you took your first MFR seminar, did you start your business right away, or do you want to walk us through like how long it took you to start your business and what that process was like?
I didn't start my business right away. There was a maternal wellness center was a place where I worked for a period of time after that. And it was owned by somebody who I was connected to kind of tangentially. And I knew that was going to be a good place to start as a massage therapist because like all the vibes were right. But I knew that they were hiring before I was even licensed. And I was like, I have to, all the things. And so like I wanted to pass my MBLEX the first time, which was just added pressure. So I started working there and really loved massage therapy. But then I was like, I need to start incorporating myofascial release. I eventually went and did skill enhancement at the sanctuary in Malvern and was offered a job there and worked there for just over a year part-time. And then I was like, I am ready to start my own business. And I had been in coaching since before the skill enhancement seminar. And I just felt like, the nerves of, am I ready? Am I not ready? But I just got to the point where I was like, I'm really ready. And I would like to be working closer to my house so that I can be working with people in my neighborhood, people in my community who desperately need this work. So
Yeah.
I didn't start right away. But then when I started, I was like, okay, my feet are firmly on the ground. And I felt like really ready to take the reins.
Yeah. Knowing what you know now, do you think you were actually ready? Like when you first joined coach, like could you have started your practice then?
Probably. I think the knowing that you gain your confidence by having your hands on people is something that I didn't embody that. Like I didn't know that in my bones. But, I just came back from a seminar and we reviewed things. I had taken the seminar 2 years ago and some of the things I just hadn't been incorporating into my work. And today I was like, just put your hands on their top teeth. Like you can just do it, Lauren. Like
the glove on. Yes.
With the glove on. Yes. But that's how I'm going to feel. Like that's a technique that I do is by actually doing it. And I think
that's how you learn to be great at it. You have to actually apply instead of just consume a seminar. You have to apply.
Yeah, you have to take it and then do it, which was always my intention. So that's also a thing that I was like, okay. Growing up, my sister and I would like get art supplies and she would make things and I would have art supplies. And in a similar way, I feel like I took the seminars, but I felt nervous to do the things sometimes.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, okay, I just need to implement them all. Make sure this week I'm doing all the things that we did just so
Yeah.
that I don't forget and then feel nervous again. Like I need to just be putting my hands and doing the things.
Yeah. And like getting your workbooks out and just like
Yeah.
opening to a random page and just trying something.
Yeah. And I also reached out to somebody who I hadn't seen in a while because she didn't want to schedule far away because she was like, I don't like canceling. And I was like, that's not a thing for me, but this then will just lead to your reality of, I hope you can get in when you need to.
Yeah.
But I was like, hey, you came in for TMJ. I just reviewed a lot of stuff with the cranium. So it didn't work for her to come in when I had an opening. But she's like, thanks for thinking of me. And I was like, yes,
That's so
this is
nice.
the kind of care that I can give.
So, along the lines of, I hope you can get in when you want to get in, let's talk about a couple of things. Well, let's talk about that. So, you're not only a member of my foundational program, but you're also a member of my more advanced program, the Beyond 100K Mastermind.
Mm-hmm.
And some of your recent hardships have been that you have been so fully booked. You're booked out until we're recording this April 23rd, 2026, and you are booked into.
My next opening is on July 1st.
Okay. And that has been, well, some people would say, that's amazing. This is the hope,
Amazing.
right? This has actually been a little bit stressful, well, as you're learning how
Yes.
to cope with it. Tell me about that experience. And was that surprising to land there? Like, what's that been like for you?
I've had people ask me if I knew I was going to if I anticipated being as successful as my business has been. And which is always kind of a funny question because the answer is yes. I knew that
That's what
eventually
you wanted, right?
it
You
was
wanted a
yes,
successful
it
practice.
was what
Yeah.
I wanted, but it was also what I've seen happen in your coaching program over and over again. And so I just knew that it was only a matter of time before I would get fully booked. It's like the exciting part and the nervousness of like, okay, so I had somebody call me a couple weeks ago who's in a pretty significant crisis of pain. And I was like, okay, well, at that point, I think I had an appointment at the beginning of May. And so I was like, you should book that one. And what I decided to do was create an appointment for her that was closer so that I could see her.
Yeah.
But the part of doing that is like not jam packing my schedule to begin with so that I'm not harming myself to make an extra appointment for somebody like that. But that's, I think, where I get the feeling of stress is that if somebody really needs something and I can't provide it
Yeah.
because my life outside of the treatment room is also busy and full of good things that I've planned and that I need to have capacity for. So that's where a little bit of that, like both and. I'm super pumped that I'm booked through July. And like over this seminar weekend, I had 3 people cancel for this week or need to cancel their appointments. One was able to reschedule to one of the other 2 cancellations. But I was like, this isn't a problem. People will be so excited to fill the times that have just opened up. And then I had
Yeah.
somebody new book my Friday appointment. I'm like, look at you go.
That's amazing. Yeah, people are kind of are ready to get into your schedule whenever you have availability, I think is a really useful thought. And
Yeah.
this is one thing to point out too, is part of the fully booked method in my program is to not shut off your system because you're fully booked, is to not stop taking clients. Like you still keep your
Yeah.
schedule open, you still continue to sell, you still show up in the same way you do when you're not fully booked to create a continuum of fully booked into infinity.
Yeah.
So, what has that been like to not shut your schedule off and allow
Yeah.
people to keep booking?
I think it's been fine. I never really considered shutting it down so that new people couldn't book because I think it's really exhilarating when I see that I have a new person that's booking. And my clients that are like recurring clients now know that that's what's happening. And so I have somebody who likes a particular time on Thursdays, and that is literally the only time in my available slots that she can come in. And I was like, then book them. Like, let's sit down and make sure that you get the care that you need at the intervals that fits because she has a very like also busy life. So for as often as she can get in, because she was like, I had you because I saw her maybe for the first time in February, but she had booked in
Yeah.
December. And by the time February came around, I was like, so now we're looking at the end of April. And she was horrified.
Yeah.
And then she was like, put me on for every Thursday at this time through the end of the year. And so So
Yeah.
I've
And you're
had
probably
some
going to
people,
need to revisit that in September to make sure she has the next spots.
yeah,
Yeah.
but she's coming in often enough that it's not a problem. Usually when people are coming in, I write in my notes like what they have scheduled out, unless they have scheduled out 20 appointments, and then that's just bananas. But
Yeah.
especially if they only have one or two scheduled, I'm like, we should really by the end of today have your next three or your next whatever, so that we don't end up with a gap in care when you're not ready for those gaps.
Yeah. It's literally all planning and making a system for
Yeah.
this that helps your clients get exactly what they need when they need it and how they need it. And it's you making the decisions on how that's going to go, like having your cancellation policies, having your rate set the way it is, having how many sessions you have available every week. It's very on purpose. You got booked on purpose and you stay booked on purpose and you're rebooking
Yeah.
people on purpose. And I think so many new therapists or business owners that are not having the success that you're having don't have the systems in place. They don't have the global planning and it's not very purposeful. It's more like, I think people think they don't have control over how booked they get,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Either from zero clients, like to creating their first client, or from managing themselves not getting overbooked. Because we have both things happening to different therapists at the same time in the community where people are freaking out because they're afraid or they're in scarcity. So they're like, my fully book number is 12, but I see 22 people a week. I'm like, what
Yeah.
is happening? Right.
Yeah.
And then we find out like that's just a rate problem. So we solve for the rate problem and that helps to
Yeah.
lower that scarcity because we're solving for how much money needs to be made. So I think this is such a good share. Like it's fun to see where you're at and it's fun to have been a part of like the whole process of you like starting, then kind of putting your business on pause while you work for someone else and then actually starting your business and seeing it just explode. Now you've gone through a rate increase as well. So do you want to kind of talk about what that has been like for you and what that's created?
Yeah. So, I mean, first of all, when I started, I had a really hard time charging a rate that I knew was reasonable and also would support my life. And so
And what does reasonable even mean?
I mean, who knows? but what I but it's like what is the thing that I can say out loud and survive saying out loud, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And especially knowing that like a lot of people in my personal world didn't know what myofascial release was. And so yeah, so I started with my rate was going to be 150, but I started with like a grand opening at 125 for the first 3 months. So that was for anybody who came in the first 3 months. And then I extended that, I think, to the end of February of that year, of that next year for the people who had come to see me during that time as like the rate increase is not happening for you yet, but if you wanted to prepay for things, it was also a way of filling my schedule, which has
Yeah.
then proceeded to happen.
At any rate you've charged.
Yeah. So, yeah. So then at the end, I was planning to do a rate increase. Let's see. I think I was going to try to do it over Thanksgiving of this past year. And then I was like, I can't. I just didn't get the email sent.
And you joined the mastermind around that time. Like
Yeah,
you
I joined
started.
the mastermind started in January and I was like, I cannot start this mastermind without having done the thing. I really benefit from having external accountability,
Yeah.
which is why coaching is
Same.
so beneficial. Yeah, right. I'm like, I wrote down all my numbers this morning because I knew we were doing this today. I was like, I need to know my facts and data
Yeah.
so that I know what the information I'm sharing is accurate. When I changed my rate then in January for new people didn't know that I had had a rate increase. And I think maybe 2 days after I changed my rate, somebody booked and I was like, oh my gosh.
And you changed it pretty significantly, right? Was it
It
a
went from
$50?
150 to 200.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I really changed it because I was not enjoying my package rate. And I was like, I need my package rate because a lot of people were doing packages. And
Yeah.
I wanted to only feel good about the rate that people were paying. And so I increased my rate. And let's see. So then when I raised my rate, I sent out an email to all of my clients and I was like, hey, I'm raising my rate effective now for new people is now $200, but you have until the end of March at this rate and you can prepay for whatever you can prepay for as much as you want to maintain this rate for as long as it's possible. Because it helped me to calm my nervous system down, to charge or to give them a decent on ramp or them
Yeah.
time that they could see what they could do or make plans. So that was helped me to be like, okay, that feels generous. That feels like a generous amount of time. Nobody's going to be like, what today? And yeah,
And did anyone tell you off, flip you off, like try to rob you?
no, no one did that. And there were some people who were like, you could tell that it was either a surprise or like, no one was like, I love that for me. They were like, I'm
Like, I'm
glad for
so
you.
happy to pay more for the same service. Thank you so much. Yeah.
But
Of
they were
course.
happy for me. And
Yeah.
that was also helpful. And I just mentioned it every time somebody came in for the first time after I sent the email, because really I only sent that email one time, which is probably not best practice to like not be like, hey, remember you could, if there's anything you
Hmm.
want to prepay for. But I made sure that when people were in, that I said it early and often, so people.
Yeah. Did the amount of people you were seeing per week change at all with your rate increase? Like, did you change your fully booked number? Did you lower it? Did you raise it? Has that maintained?
I've kept it the same. And really, people who are taking advantage of packages at the old rate really helped me get fully booked through most of the summer. Like right now, I had somebody book 2 appointments for this today over the summer. So, but when I was writing my numbers down this morning, I had 6 openings in July and 13 openings in August.
That's not very many.
Not very many. So, yeah. And I have a new
And
person coming in tomorrow. So I'm like, it's on, it's
are the
only.
majority of those people then paying your new rate or new package rate?
Yes. I think maybe after September, no one will be on the old rate anymore because I could kind of map that out based on when people's packages that they prepaid for will run out or will be used all the way. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's exciting.
Yes.
And then you've basically set yourself up to go from having like $7,500 months to having over 10K months going forward.
Yes. I mean, I don't. So that would be true if I worked probably all the months or all the weeks of the year. But I also have taken out for vacation and for holidays. And in the summer, I need to take my kids to and from summer camp. So it ends up that I'm not. But yes, I think if next year I work the same amount of weeks as this year, like the top range of just for paid appointments would be $105,000. And if everybody was on packages, it would be like 96. So that's
Mhm.
kind of the range for
That's amazing. And what's your fully booked number?
12. So in my first full year of business, my first full calendar year in 2025, my gross revenue was $61,290. And right now for 2026, with what is scheduled out so far, I'm at $52,795 with 174 appointments left to be booked, which I anticipate being fully booked. And so with that, 174 clients yet that are either going to be paying the package rate, which is like 183.33. That would be an additional $31,900. Or if people are paying full price, it would be an additional $34,800. And so it's just really exciting to see in my second full year of business that I will be either hitting, what is it, 84,000 or $87,000 in revenue when my first year was 61. And in 2027, like we said, it'll either be like the range will be between 97,000 and 105.
Yeah,
So that's just from like starting at one rate and then getting fully booked and growing to then be at a different rate and what that will look like for next year. It's just really exciting to be able to project. And I'm super proud of that.
I love that. And how much time out, how many weeks do you take off every year too?
This is working 44 weeks a year.
Okay. So
Um,
is that like 6 weeks off?
it's 8 weeks off.
8 weeks off. Okay.
We have
Amazing.
a big vacation this year, which is exciting. And then what I did was I counted up all of the sessions that weren't happening because of either holidays or trips or things like that. Or in the summer when I pick up my kids from summer camp and I do one less every Monday or whatever.
Yeah.
And then divided that by 12, like the total amount, and then divided it by 12 to figure out how many per month.
Yeah.
So, or how many weeks it was.
I
So,
love it. That's so awesome. Okay, so I love to share that because a lot of people think in order to make money, you have to work harder. You're going to have over six figures or just right at six figures,
yeah.
taking plenty of time off, seeing 12 clients a week. I just want everybody listening, don't wreck your cars, but like really absorb the fact that you could see 12 clients and still have a six-figure business. Does your rate need to be higher? Yeah, but you can become the kind of person that charges that rate, and for all of the various reasons how, we have a very specific formula that we follow to come up with the rates. Most of it is leans into like what is best for you, right? That's the
Yeah.
biggest factor, is what is best for you, not what are people going to think? Who am I to do that? Like, of course, you're going to have those thoughts, but that's not the factor in how you determine the rate. So, when we first started working together, could you ever imagine that you'd be charging $200 in 2026?
Yeah. No, not in 2026. I think but did I see it as the eventuality? Again, yes, because it's like I knew that I needed to build the confidence to charge that, but I also would have built the confidence by just charging it earlier.
Sure.
People would have
But
paid.
did you
Yeah.
know it's something that you wanted? Did you know you wanted to have a six-figure
No,
business?
no.
Yeah.
But I've also never really made money before this. I've
Yeah.
always been in our house, the more flexible job person, because if the kids were sick, that was, my husband was teaching for a period of time, and he didn't, even when he was sick, he would go to work. So it was
Yeah.
there are some jobs that it's really hard to not do.
Yeah.
But I stayed home with the kids, and then I was the flexible person. So I was like,
Yeah.
okay,
But you're still the flexible person, and
yeah,
you have the flex of being a woman who earns six figures.
yeah,
Yeah. That's so, I mean, I just like to celebrate that because it's kind of a big deal.
it is kind of a big deal.
And every time one of us does that and we talk about it and we share it, it gives
Yeah.
someone else permission to dream too. And the dream doesn't have to be really far away. Like, you got licensed in 2022,
Mm-hmm.
it's 2026. Like, your
Yeah.
return on investment for investing in that education when you're making six figures is
Yeah.
huge. Huge.
Yeah. And I was aware of the fact that I paid for coaching for an entire year before I opened I paid for it twice. I didn't go through the whole second year before opening my
Yeah.
business. But I was like, I know that I want to stay in business. I know that I want to stay in coaching because I know that this is a resource that will just be only beneficial to me
Yeah.
and will help me create more sustainability and more calm. You talk about that a decent amount of wanting business to feel calm
Yeah. Boring.
and boring. And I'm like, I love building the business to being fully booked, had a lot of excitement. And also right now I'm like, okay, I don't have this fear of it all going away.
Hmm.
And I don't have a fear that something's going to happen and all of a sudden all my clients are going to be like, Lauren's the worst.
Right.
I think that I see this as something that's sustainable for me
Yeah.
and that there just continues to be more people looking for it. And so sometimes I think oh, when both of my kids are in school earlier in the day, will I want to start earlier, or will I actually just want to go to the gym during that time and take care of my body so that I can keep doing this work well and feel really good in my body?
Yeah. You get to decide then, because what is important right now might be totally different then, right? Year to year, month to month, actually. Like, you can change your hours or your schedule anytime you want to because you want to.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. I think that's another like flex of being like, for my own self, being in coaching is permission, or like the ability to make those changes as needed
Mm-hmm.
when I want, because I want to. And of
Yeah.
course, like, I want to not affect anyone else, and I want everybody to like me, and I want it
Yeah.
to be convenient for everyone else. But I've been able to let go of that, having to be the driver for the decisions that I make. And I think naturally, the success of the clients drives the decisions that you make, you still can make decisions that are best for you because that helps you create the best result for your clients. So it's a big flex, because a lot of people just live their lives based on like, well, what is someone else going to think about me? And it
Yeah.
makes them so small and so contained to a box that like the potential that everybody else is missing out on because that person doesn't get out of the box that sucks. Like, let's all
Yeah.
get out of the box because I want to see like your potential and you taking up space in the world is going to make my world better.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like it's
Yeah.
just much more spicy.
Yes.
Okay, so we were just talking about raising your rates, getting fully booked, being fully booked out, seeing 12 clients a week, having the flexibility. Now it's April. This show is probably going to air much later, but how were taxes this year?
Taxes ended up being fine. And I still need to hear from my accountant what the breakdown was because it got to be last minute. And she was like, these are the
This is what you
estimated
owe.
taxes. This is what the estimated, and if as they crunch the things, there's a little bit more, a little bit less. But like we paid the thing that was remaining. My husband's work takes the taxes out of his pay. So what was left was from my business. And it ended up being like 73 to I forget 73 $7,500, and I had saved like 14 because I was like, I don't know, this is my first year doing this, and I didn't know if it was going to be what percentage of the profit that I made last year.
How did it feel to just have the money, and not only have the money, but have almost twice as much money saved?
That felt incredible. And when I was talking with my accountant, she was like, so it's going to be like this amount. And I was like, that's fine. I have it saved. She's like, I know. I was like, it just means that I made money this year. She's like, I know. I'm like, no, you
Like, this
always
is a huge
celebrated with
deal.
me.
It's a,
Yeah.
yeah. It's
Yeah.
super fun to understand, like when you have a lot of money coming in, a lot of revenue months coming in, as you're working towards 10K and beyond months, what to do with that money. And that's
Mhm.
another thing that you learn in coaching is what to do with the money and how to have the money and how to keep the money, but also how to pay yourself.
Yes.
So what has like paying yourself been like?
That's been very exciting to kind of know that I have a steady stream of income coming in.
Yeah.
I don't have a system for like an automatic payment coming from my work bank account to my personal bank account.
Mhm. You might just need to write yourself a check.
Yeah, I also don't have checks with my business, like because I don't. Anyway, I
Okay.
can
I'm
I
like,
can
this is
just use
something we can
Zelle
fix
right now.
really easily.
I'm sure it is. I think, but I am curious if there's a way to do an like a just a calendar date where it just happens from the bank. Because what happens is my brain is like, oh, I think we did that, and then I
Can you
didn't.
set up bill pay through your account?
Maybe,
Yeah. It would just be like that. If your accounts offer bill pay, you would just set up like a bill and it would just transfer the money.
yeah.
Mhm.
We'll see. The more you
Yeah.
know.
The
So
more you
yeah,
can automate, the easier, right?
right.
Yeah.
Yes,
Until you go on payroll, like you'll probably be on payroll by 2028, I would say.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think so.
Hmm.
So, yeah, so that's the one thing where I'm like, oh, I didn't pay myself this month, or I paid myself one time as opposed to like twice.
Yeah.
And I've
That's
been
okay.
working to increase. I know it's just, it looks a little messy when I'm like, well, my expenses aren't that high. I could be paying myself more.
Yeah. Cause like, just for instance, I
I
was
know.
looking at your numbers and you had like over $6,900 of profit in March, right?
Yeah. And what did I pay myself? Like 1,000 or 1,500 or something.
1,500. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you
So I
have a lot of
was
wiggle room.
last year, what I was starting to do was to pay myself $1,500 twice a month. And
Mhm.
now my goal is to increase that to $4,000 until I knew what taxes were going to look like or what I needed
Yeah.
to be saving. And also just because people are paying two different rates still, I just wanted to see how it all played out before I paid
Yeah.
myself. Like, because
So
the goal was like
now you know how it's played out, and I'm just going to ride you until your owner's pay matches the profitability in your business, right?
yeah,
Profitable businesses can pay their owners even when owners take vacations and even when you have a day off. So, and
yeah,
that's the business you've created. Do you get to keep all the money that comes into your business, all of the revenue? No, because it's going to go to your expenses, it's going to go to tax savings, it's going to go to bumping up your accounts so that you have these buffers for when you take time off. But your ability to have the revenue that you have and keep the money instead of just spending everything down is what gives you that sustainability and what gives you that ability to see the 12 clients a week and still
yeah,
take time off and not feel like you have to see 25 clients or just shove everybody in
Yeah.
right before you go take a seminar, which is how a lot of people run their businesses.
Yeah. I think what I tend to feel like I need to stick people in places is if I'm sick. Like I have a hard time,
Yeah.
which
And
that was a
sometimes we
mess up.
do that, right? When the cancellation is on us or whatever, sometimes we do that. But I also want you to remember that that's always gets to be a choice. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to do that. And I think for
Yeah.
many people that are on your schedule, they're on the schedule the next week anyway, or they're there in 2 weeks. It's kind of like how I always have all these appointments, for physical therapy, massage, facials, or whatever. And if I have to miss a week, I'm one of those people like I'm just booked out because my
Yeah.
schedule is so busy and I don't want to miss any of those great things for myself. So I'm just like, I'll see you at my next one.
Yeah. 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 I think the stress was as I was getting booked out much farther, the feeling of like, if it wasn't somebody who was coming in the following week or
Yeah.
2 weeks after that, then I was like, or if I knew that they were like, oh no, but they also don't want to see me while I'm vomiting, then I'm like, yeah, nobody's
Yeah.
like, you should actually work through this.
Nobody wants to see you while you're vomiting or having diarrhea,
Yeah.
honestly. No
Yeah.
thanks. No.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like in times like that, you can be like, hey, I'm going to just go ahead and work on this random Saturday because you choose to do it. It's just much healthier when it's a choice.
Yeah.
People understand. And sometimes, yeah, sometimes it sucks. You have to cancel someone and they can't get in for a month. They might be a little ornery about it, but they're going to live.
You're going to be okay. Yeah.
They're going to be okay. I think that's also like one of the best things you can tell yourself is like, none of this is an emergency. It feels really hard right now, but it's going to be okay. Like all of this is okay. And it happens for hair appointments. It happens for everything. And no one died from not getting their hair colored or cut.
Yeah. Yes.
I had to
Yeah.
keep
And
telling
I
myself
like
that
don't think
during
that.
COVID.
Uh-huh. Yeah. And I don't, when somebody cancels last minute with me because they're like, oh, my kid is sick or
Yeah.
something else, I'm like, that I understand that.
Yeah.
And I think I'm not like, oh no, what does this mean? Will everybody cancel and then I won't make any money and then the sky will fall and then
Mhm.
oh
Which you could totally think all of those things. It's just so much easier and more peaceful when you don't.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. The ease and peace of having a managed mind and like knowing what your systems are, knowing what your protocols are, like how you run your business. So your business is not running you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. I love that. Okay. You mentioned in your onboarding form for the podcast that social justice and community are very important to you. Is there any kind of projects that you're currently working on or anything you want to shed some light on that other people might be interested in?
Yeah. So I am part of Abigail Southgate's, I purchased her course training work. And so thinking about how do I incorporate self-treatment workshops because there's lots of individuals that I would like to work with and who I know are also in the sphere of organizing, which can be meaning that people are like out protesting or they're
Sure.
doing visuals outside of anyway, there's lots of things that people are doing that it takes a lot on their body or just they're impacted personally by the work that they're also doing or they're targeted in that work. And so like wanting to be able to provide care and make it accessible to people and know that like if I were to say, yes, I would like to work with these people all at the same, like, I couldn't see anybody new till July. That's the realm. And so thinking about if leading a self-treatment workshop would be something where a bunch of people could get care and also be more equipped to take care of themselves or know how to like access what they're feeling in their bodies in different ways. And I've also done things like discount sessions for folks that I'm like, I need you to be doing the work that you're doing because the world needs you to be doing that work. And so making it more accessible in a way that doesn't also jeopardize my business. Like it's not like everybody is only paying like a much smaller percentage, but
Yeah.
the rest of the business helps make that be possible so that I can be present in that way. Cause yeah, I can't always go down to City Hall and be doing the things that I had been able to do in other periods of my life
Yeah.
that long ago.
Yeah. But then because of these kind of group offers, then you can help the people that are doing that work that's very near and dear to you.
Yeah. And I haven't started doing them yet, but I was like, this is the push that I need. And so I have been doing more like the one-off
Yep.
situations. But that's what I want to be as I see the world just needing more and more care, to be able to offer that so that people can. And I imagine doing that at like a pay what you can kind of a thing,
Yeah.
or with a like a suggested
Yeah. Or
something.
maybe you do it free once or twice,
Yeah,
right? Because you
exactly.
can't, like, because you can.
Yeah.
I think that's the freedom of making more than what you need and having more than enough, is that you can do things at a discount. You can do things for free when you want and why you want and to who you want. That's such a
Yeah.
huge freedom. And I think
Yeah.
people think they have to do that all the time, and they have, in order for it to count, or in order, I don't know what the thought process is there, but it's kind of like applying your own oxygen mask in an emergency on an airplane. If you don't, you're going to pass out and you're not going to be able to help anyone. So you've got to get that on first, and then you can help everybody around you. So that's what you've created in your business. You've made many oxygen masks, not just
Yeah.
one for yourself, but for your entire family. And now, like, the ripple effect of that is that you can offer discounted or free sessions when you want to, do charity work, offer group programming for people that you want to help. So
Yeah.
that's beautiful.
Yeah. And like I sponsored my daughter's theater production. Like I put an ad in
Oh
there
my gosh,
kind
that's
of
so
thing.
fun.
And I was like, it was in February, but I was also like, okay, people were like, oh, what's this? And I was like, this is what my official release is. And my next opening is at the end of April. It's like those sorts of
But
things. So
that's fine.
yes, I think like people knowing about it, even if it's not something that they can take advantage of right away, or,
Yeah.
but just like building the awareness of that myofascial release, how it can work with you, with your body. And there are other local therapists. Like there are people who might be able to see them sooner too,
Sure.
or they could get on my schedule and then, get on
Yeah.
my schedule in a more frequent way. So
Yeah.
just,
I just think it's like constantly creating your demand by doing things like that, continuing to advertise, continuing to market, continuing to talk about what you do and show up as if you could see someone tomorrow. Like, you could help someone today, and you help them today by letting them know that they can get on your schedule for August. That's okay. And yeah,
yeah.
there's tons of therapists. There's lots of options out there. So,
Yeah.
what do you think about, like, being, I mean, there's lots of therapists near you, aren't there? Aren't there quite a few?
There's one that's like within 10 minutes. There's one that I just met at the seminar who's about maybe 20 minutes away from me.
Wait, do you ever feel like that's a problem, or do you feel like that's, like, actually good?
When I hear people talk about how far they travel for an MFR therapist so that they can get treated, I'm like, man, my person's 7 minutes away. And
Yeah, that's so
it's just
lucky.
like juicy and delicious to me that I can get care. And also, there's more than 12 people a week who need this work. So it's just never going to be a problem that there's not enough people who need the work. Like that to me is such a funny idea that I could even think that there
Yeah,
just wouldn't be enough people. There's just
yeah. There's
too
plenty of
many.
bodies for everyone,
Yeah.
even in small rural locations. I just think there's never, other therapists, other modalities, other MFR therapists are not your competition. Like, it's not
No.
a problem. You don't have to even think about them. It's not a
Yeah.
problem.
I mean, and people are finding me right now, like my intake form, I ask how they found me because it's always nice to know if somebody referred them
Yeah,
or what. And 90% are doing a Google search for myofascial release near me.
yeah,
And I think that the more MFR therapists that there are that are talking about it to people, the more somebody's going to know that this could help. That, like, it just kind of creates an awareness in the universe that there is this work available and that it's for you.
yeah,
So, yeah, no, people need to know. I saw somebody in a Facebook group who was like, seemed to be in a pretty dire situation, or like that's a lot of pain. And I was like, I can't see you right now, but there's another therapist right now, or in my close to us, who
yeah,
could see you probably in the next like 2 weeks. And so
yeah.
go, just go.
That's awesome.
And
I
I don't
love
know
it.
if they ever did, but I think it doesn't hurt us to have more people doing the work. And I just think like we need the work to keep going if we want to keep receiving the care. You
Yeah,
know, I don't want this to be like a dying form that then eventually, when I'm elderly. I want there to be excellent therapists who are
Yeah.
young and like excited about this work too.
Yeah. And I think it definitely helps to be able to see the role models, like people like you that are making this a lucrative career. Like you can go to massage school and you can make six figures
Hmm.
and you don't have to see 40 people a week in order to do it. You don't have to kill your body in order to do it, which seems to be what most people think. So we're trying to rewire how people think about what's possible as far as their income level and how fun their life outside of business can be too.
Yeah. My life outside of business is very fun. So, and it's because it can be like, there was a period of time where I was like just the most fixated on whether my schedule was the right schedule because I couldn't figure out when I could go to the gym. And then I solved for that and I was like, everything has fallen into place.
Yeah.
I was like, what a dramatic.
Well, I think we forget we're in charge of the schedule and we can make it, we can
Yeah.
change anything. We have to be willing to be uncomfortable about it. And we might have to make a couple of phone calls to make the changes. We have to reschedule
Yeah.
some people. That's okay.
I think for me, I can fixate on just making a micro adjustment and being like, is that right? And then I write out my whole life again again and again. It's like I'm a list maker, but it's the
Yeah.
same thing for like what would be the prime way of experiencing my life. And if I can't figure it out, then I'm like, I should just keep trying over and over again. And instead, I was like, oh, if I just swim in the afternoon because there's a swim class that I don't like in the morning, then I can resolved and it was fine. And I just
Yeah.
the rest of it be. But I can do that with business. I can kind of fixate on something instead of being like kind of letting something go or letting something be the way it is for a period of time and see if it really needs to change or because I know that I have that power, it's always within my grasp to change my schedule. But
Do
does it
you
make sense?
need to? Yeah. Does it make
Does it
sense?
make sense within when it comes to be summer and I need to pick somebody up at 3 o'clock? Well, no, my
Yeah.
schedule right
But
now.
also, like maybe it works for 3 months and then you just have to make a new decision
That yeah, that's
every
true.
90 days to see. I'm doing that right now with my brain because I really want to start working out with a trainer, but I'm like, it needs to be 3 times a week. And then I'm like, okay,
Mhm.
but I'm going to be going on vacation and like that's going to mess it up. And so because it's not perfect and because I can't see that I can like fully commit to it or I'm like afraid I'm going to start and then something's going to throw it off, I just keep not doing it.
Oh, you should do it. Working out with a trainer. So I started working out with a trainer in January
Yeah.
and 10 out of 10.
I know. Well, and I've done it before. And I've done it since I've
Yeah.
had back surgery. And then it's just, I just need to do it. Heather, just
Okay.
do it.
All right.
Hopefully I'll be reporting in that I've overcome my own objections about working out. It's
Yeah.
ridiculous now saying that out loud.
All
Okay.
right.
I'm going to figure that out.
I'm going to pay myself for real and you're going to start working out.
I'm going to start working out with a trainer. You're going to start paying yourself for real. Okay. So your target take home pay is going to be 4,500, did you say?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we'll see. Like, I think that in my household, we don't need me to be making more than that right now. But also, we did things like we are replacing the rest of our windows and we sat down and we were like, okay, the payment plan was either going to be this or this, and it depended what I could contribute in addition to what I had been doing before. And so it's fun to think about like what else is possible as that capacity grows. And I am
Yeah.
also like so relieved that I set it at $200 because I'm like, maybe I'll never raise it again, but not really. But like, I
Yeah.
don't need to raise it. Like, I'm not looking at this January being like, oh, I'm going to have to do that again because I only raised it by whatever. That was
Yeah.
something that your coaching also really helped with because I was like,
Yeah.
I don't want to do this ever. So can I make it something?
Well, because usually people's first instinct is to like see the number, freak out, and then pick a number that feels comfortable. Then they start selling that. And of course, it's easy because it feels comfortable. And then 3 months
Yeah.
down the road, they're like, oh, I could have done the number I needed to do. And then they got
Yeah.
to do it again. So it's like, just do it
Yeah. Yeah.
and
I
let
mean,
me help you through it.
I'm going to tell people something that I'm like,
Yeah.
this when I was working out what my new rate could be, I didn't want to say that my package rate was $1,000 because $1,000 feels like a wild number. Like a
Mhm.
thousand feels like a really big number. So you know what it is though? It's $1,100, but that feels easier for me to say out loud. And so I picked a higher number because I was like saying $1,000 just
I actually love that because I was trying to like talk about that today on the 10K call and I was like, go below 1,000. But actually, I like that train of thought of like, also, how does it feel when it comes out of your mouth when it's just over 1,000?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
couldn't, the 1,000 just felt like, even
But
though
1,100 does just sound less. I don't know why. It's
because
not.
100 just feels less than 1,000, but I don't know.
Yeah.
You might
That's
be
so
right.
funny. It's all psychology, right? But at the end of the day, we want to make sure our facts and data support the decision, like the facts and data and our wants and our needs and our desires, and that we're not cutting ourselves off or selling ourselves short based on our rate. I've had this conversation with people before too, where they want to have a $200,000 a year, but their rate and their fully booked number can never, that doesn't math out.
Yeah.
And then they keep wondering why they're not hitting their goals. I'm like, well, it's just math. You have to change the math. Like you have to change the input here somewhere. You either have to see twice as
Yeah.
many people or you got to double your rate. Which one do you want to do? It's usually easier to double your rate.
Yeah. And like I've been able to prioritize treatment for myself where I get treated every other week. And I'm like, oh, if I would want to see maybe 2 more people a week, like if that ever became something, I was like, then I would want to get treated every week. And so, which would cover it for sure.
Yeah.
But just,
Did you add house cleaning too to your list of things you were going to do?
we talked about it. I have somebody who's coming to help or like declutter, which is
Yeah.
what I think I actually need.
Yep. Love that.
Because so we aren't just like straightening up the same pile of
Yep.
crap. That's
Love
just
that.
like,
I think everybody should do that every couple of years. Just have a professional declutterer come in.
yeah.
Yeah.
And we've worked with her before, and I reached out. I was like, Deborah, are you still doing this? She's like, I am. And I was like, she's like, when do you want me to come? And I thought this is also helpful because I will for sure go through a bunch of stuff before she gets here. That external
Yeah.
motivator piece again
Yep.
comes in to win. Instead of shaming myself for not being good at going through my own stuff, I'm like, just
Oh, this is great.
somebody who's good at this can help me and get better at this and let go of some things.
Mhm.
So,
And you can afford to do it.
yeah.
That's really valuable. And I think hiring services, like whether it's someone like childcare services or house cleaning services or meal prep services or a trainer, those are all things that are giving you back time
Hmm.
or taking away mental load, which has a very high value on it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
love that.
In January, I was one of the things that you had us do in the mastermind was talk about what did we want. And one of the things that came up for me was like, I want my car not to feel like it's just trashed. And so, but I had this idea that only rich people, like rich people are people who get their cars detailed or get their cars cleaned,
Oh, yeah.
whatever, because I
Yeah.
should just be able to clean it out and it should be enough. And then I looked it up and I was like, oh, it's $200 to get your car. And I think I had this thought because I know that my parents have had their cars cleaned. And to me, I was like, that means you have to be doing very well. And I was like, oh, I'm doing very well. I could do that. And then my husband was like, don't do that because my birthday was coming up at the end of the month and he had already planned for the whole thing. Like he had, but I was like, oh,
Oh,
this is something that we could do from time
you
to time.
can do. Yeah. Just because
Yeah.
you want to. Yeah. I love that. I just wonder too, for anyone listening, sit down and give yourself 5 minutes of brainstorming. What do you want? Like, what would make your life easier? What's the cost of that? And how can you make your business pay for it? How can you make your owners pay for that?
Yeah. And I did lots of things. Like I wrote down like wanting to be more connected to people, which means like whether it's my husband, so like making sure that we're going out and like having a date night, which might mean paying for childcare or not. My kids are old enough, but like my son still likes having a babysitter sometimes. So all the things.
Yeah.
But like, what are the things that I can prioritize so that I'm making sure that those are happening in my life. Like the getting to the gym piece was a big thing. And so when I went and they were like, you could work with a personal trainer, I was like, yeah, I can.
Okay. Here's my money.
Here's my money and I'll give it to you because I need to be meeting with somebody so I know what I'm doing and
Yeah,
hurt myself because I need my body to be good for this.
exactly.
All the things.
All
But
the things. Well, I'm extremely proud to be working with you and to watch your journey and just see everything that you continue to create. And I just am only imagining what we're talking about a year from now. I also can't even believe, like, you've never been on the podcast before. What is going
yeah.
on?
I think I said I was going to before. And then when I went to do the thing, I either couldn't remember where I was supposed to go to do that. Or
Yeah.
then when I got to where I had to pick a date, I was like, well, who knows? I don't know.
I don't know how good I'll be doing. So I got to wait. That's a lot of people's objection is like, well, I'm going to wait till I'm doing better. I'm like, listen, if I'm asking you to be on the podcast, you're doing awesome. And
Yeah.
even if I'm not, like, just come on, come on the podcast. But
Yeah.
well, I appreciate it.
You were a person that I told when my husband got a raise, because I was like, how our culture does not really celebrating other people's doing well, but I think your coaching program does that. And I know for sure that you do that. And I
Yeah.
was like, guess what? This is amazing. It was very exciting. And you're also
Yeah.
the person who was like, you know what? Someday I'm going to work with the Eagles. I'm going to work with a professional sports team because I want to, and it's
Yeah.
close to me. And you were like, who do you know? And I thought, okay, I could,
You should just start making Instagram posts where you're like, I want to work with the Eagles. Who knows someone? You just post every day.
yeah,
My name is Lauren and I would like to work with the Eagles. And you just keep saying that as your introduction. And then you're like, also, if you're just a regular person, I'll work with you right now too. Here's my link. Something super
yeah,
funny. That'd be awesome.
yeah,
Anybody listening, if you guys know an in to the
yeah.
Eagles, please
I'm your
message
girl.
them.
I'm your
Where
girl.
can
I would
people
have
find you?
So people can find me at vibrantlifemfr.com. I don't have a business like Facebook or Instagram right now. But yeah, my website is, and I have a Google business listing. If you don't have a Google business listing, please help yourself and do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then when I was thinking about it, I was like, if I say that I want to work with the Eagles, I know that I could. I know that I could make that happen because I've made this happen. I've made other things
Yeah.
happen in my life. And I know that it's just, if I decide that that's what I want, then I'm going to be able to do it. And I don't think I had the audacity to say that.
You're probably just like 1 to 3 contacts away from someone who knows the way
Yeah.
in there. Yeah.
Yeah. I
Just
mean, I
gotta
know
start
somebody who
asking.
knows like Jason Kelsey. So I'm like, really, I
Yeah.
could, if I wanted to push the door right now, I could, or knock on the door right now, I could. But I think
Maybe you'll get invited to Taylor Swift's wedding and then you could bring
my
me as your
gosh,
plus one.
too many billionaires there for me, probably. So,
It's okay.
oh
We'll
my
just go
goodness.
there like just to see,
Just
to
to see.
experience.
Yeah. Just like, is anyone in pain? Because,
Anybody here in pain?
yeah.
Does anybody here need business coaching or financial management? Oh my gosh, we're nerds. Okay, I
That's so
digress.
fun.
So we know where to find you. We know
Yes.
your journey. What else would you say to people? A lot of people listen to this podcast. They aren't necessarily MFR therapists, but a lot of them are. Maybe they're new to business. What would you say to them about working with me or joining our communities?
Oh, I would say do it. I was just at a seminar talking with somebody who is one of my very favorite people to run into at seminars, and like who is trying to work out how to get clients. And I was like, in order to be able to leave the job that she has so that she can really commit to this thing. And I just knew that if she had the support from your coaching program, that it's the eventuality that if you follow the
Yeah.
coaching, that you will have the business that's fully booked, that's supporting your life, that you can reach for the
Yeah.
stars.
We do it all the time. People leave their jobs all the time in our
Yes.
community. Yeah.
Yes. And so
It's
like
normal.
I'm I'm an evangelist for your
Thank
program.
you
I'm like,
so much. I
hey, have
appreciate
you heard the good news? You too can have a great business.
it.
And I had somebody else say like they want to have their website together before they join the coaching program. I was like, that's optional. You can, or you can do that
Yeah,
with
or you can join and we can show you how to do your
support.
website for you,
Yeah.
like so you don't have to struggle or not know what to put on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I also tell people is that I didn't anticipate how much the group environment was going to be so beneficial to me, whether it's listening to other people get coached for something that I'm like, someday that will be the thing I'm facing. I will be in those shoes someday. And so this coaching is beneficial because I will be more ready because I've listened to that coaching.
Yeah.
Or it's somebody saying, hey, my client had a healing crisis. How do people talk about it? And 10 people will be like, well, I describe it like this, and I describe it like that, or this is the resource I use, or whatever. And so nobody's stranded on an island. And when we're in business, oftentimes by ourselves, it can be really isolating. And you can get into like the thought spiral of like, oh, I didn't know how to answer that. And so that I must not be good at this, or that person isn't coming back. And like all of
Yeah.
the things that can kind of cascade. And instead just be like, I'm going to ask for help so that I learn how to do it next time. And maybe that client doesn't come back. Or maybe they're like, they just have the brain space to not assume that that one interaction means that you can't help them anymore.
Yeah. Or you have someone tell you like, hey, this has nothing to do with you. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So you just are in a room with people who are for each other. And that's so valuable.
Yeah.
And so don't feel like you have to come already at a certain place,
Yeah.
or that you have to know things, or you have to be
It's
just,
actually great if you know nothing because nobody teaches you business skills. So, like, starting
yeah,
your business with business skills puts you
10
way
out of 10.
farther ahead in
Yeah.
the game of
Yeah.
business when you can
Yeah.
get those and you don't have to wait and you don't have to figure it out on your own. So,
Yeah,
love
you
that.
have people. You have people. And also at seminars, I'm often like, oh, that person's in coaching, that person's in coaching. And when I went to a seminar and I was like, is anybody from the coaching group going to be there? There was only one person, but I was like, that one person I know. And I knew other people then at the seminar anyway, but I was like, that one person I know
You have a different
doing the
connection
same
with
work.
them. Yeah.
Yeah. And they are for me in a way that, not that I think that at the seminars, people aren't for each other, but I know we're for each other.
It's a
Like, we
different
supported
connection.
each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we
You
had
guys have
fun.
been through
But
war together almost like the business of build,
yeah.
yeah, it's the whole thing. Cool. Love
Yeah.
that.
Don't wait, people. Come to Heather and the
Yes.
group. So
Everybody
good.
come on in. All right. Well, I appreciate you sharing your story. Every time someone is willing to be vulnerable and share their numbers, share their story, share their journey, it just gives other people permission for this to be possible for them too. And that's what we want. So thank you so much for joining me
Yeah.
today. And I'll be back with another episode next week, like usual. Take care, and we'll see you all later. Thanks for spending this time with me today. If you're a hands-on therapist who is ready to get fully booked and build a practice that actually pays you, I want to help you do that. Head over to heatherhummel.com to find out how we can work together. And if you loved this episode, please share it with someone who needs it. See you next week.